Welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're going to do something a little different. We're diving into a really foundational argument from the book of Romans, but we're going to frame it like a courtroom case. It's a really cool way to see how the logic unfolds.
Okay, so here's how we're going to build this case. It's got 5 main parts. We'll kick things off by looking at the world around us. Then, we're going to turn that mirror right back on ourselves. And finally, we'll get to a universal verdict that honestly might just change how you see everything.
So let's get into it. The prosecution, let's say that's the Apostle Paul, he opens his case. And what's Exhibit A? Well, it's a world that seems to have completely rejected any kind of divine standard. A society that feels like it's adrift, without a moral compass.
And the opening argument is, well, it's pretty stark. The claim is that when a society turns away from its creator, it's basically left to deal with the fallout. And this leads to something the text calls a depraved mind. And that's not just about, doing bad things. It's about a whole way of thinking that gets warped, where wrong actually starts to look right. It's a really direct cause and effect claim. You lose that higher purpose, you lose your moral clarity.
And here, wow, here's a grim inventory of what that breakdown looks like, pulled straight from the text. Just look at this list. Injustice, greed, deceit. I think most of us can look at that and agree, right? These things are destructive. They're just wrong. This is basically Exhibit A of a world in serious trouble.
Okay, but right when we're all nodding along, maybe feeling a little smug, judging those people out there, the prosecution pulls an absolutely stunning twist, and it flips the entire case completely on its head.
All of a sudden, the focus shifts. It's not about them anymore, the people out there doing all the obvious bad stuff. It pivots to someone else entirely. And that makes you wonder, wait a minute, who is really on trial here?
And bam, the accusation gets turned right on the observer. Yeah, you, the one pointing the finger, the one feeling morally superior just a second ago. And the prosecution's point is just devastating. It's that when you judge other people, you're actually condemning yourself. Because, let's be honest, nobody's hands are truly clean.
And this whole idea of hypocrisy, it's not some ancient, dusty concept, it's totally relevant. A recent poll of over 1,500 churchgoers found that a staggering 65%, see a major disconnect between their faith and their actual day-to-day lives. That gap between what we say we believe and how we actually live, that's not just a religious problem, that is a deeply human problem. Okay, so the case goes even deeper now. It starts targeting not just the obvious hypocrites, but also the people who look, perfectly moral on the outside. The argument is shifting. It's not just about bad behavior anymore, it's about the very nature of good behavior.
So the prosecution introduces this key idea, moralism. And this is a really subtle but super important distinction. It's not about being a good person. It's about trusting in your own goodness to save you. You can almost think of it as the original form of virtue signaling, where you turn your own morality into a source of pride, a way to justify yourself.
So really, it all boils down to motivation. What's driving you? True morality, the argument goes, is driven by love and compassion for other people. But moralism, that's driven by pride. It's that need to compare yourself to others and always come out looking better. One is about actually helping the person in the ditch. The other is about feeling good about yourself for not being the person in the ditch.
And this principle gets expanded on. Jesus teaches that the divine standard isn't just about what you do on the outside. It's about your inner thoughts, your desires. So the law in this view isn't just a rule book for your behavior, it's more like a cartographer for your heart. So ultimately, the argument lands here. A true spiritual life isn't about just checking boxes and following external rules. It's about a deep internal transformation, a real change in the heart. It's not just about what you do, it's all about why you're doing it.
Okay, so at this point in any real courtroom case, a good defense attorney would be on their feet shouting, "Objection!" right? Well, the writer, Paul, he totally anticipates this, so he launches into this kind of rapid-fire cross-examination of his own argument. So the first big question that comes up is, wait, does all this mean being religious is pointless? If having a moral code like the scriptures doesn't make you perfect and everyone is flawed anyway, then what's the use of having rules at all?
And the answer is a firm no. There's still a ton of value in knowing what the standard is and having those words of God, even if you fail to keep them perfectly. Think about it. You can't aim for a target you can't even see.
Okay, next objection. What if people are unfaithful?
if they fail to live up to their end of the bargain, does that mean God's promises have failed too? Does our inconsistency cancel out God's consistency?
Actually, the prosecution argues it's the complete opposite. Our inconsistency doesn't cancel out God's faithfulness at all. It actually highlights it. Our broken promises just make God's unbreakable ones shine that much brighter.
All right, so the evidence has been presented, the main objections have been handled. Now the argument moves toward its huge, sweeping, final conclusion. The case against all of humanity is about to be wrapped up.
And the verdict comes in. It's universal. There are no exceptions. And when the text uses the word righteous, it just means being in right standing, meeting that perfect standard. The conclusion? Nobody does. Not one person. Everyone. Whether you're the openly rebellious type, the secret hypocrite, or the proud moral person, everyone falls short. In this courtroom, every single person is found wanting.
So that brings us to the big question, right? What is the point of a moral law that nobody can actually keep? And this is the central aha moment of the entire case. The law isn't a ladder you're supposed to climb to get to God. It's a diagnostic tool. It's like an MRI for the soul, designed to give you a perfectly clear picture of where you're broken.
Yeah, think of it just like that. The law is the diagnosis. It's not the cure. Its purpose isn't to fix you. Its purpose is to make you 100% aware that you need fixing, and that the solution has to come from somewhere else.
And this whole elaborate case, it's all been built to lead to one final critical question. Why? Why go to all this trouble just to prove that everyone, everywhere, is flawed? Well, the argument is simple. You can never, ever truly appreciate the cure until you fully understand just how deep the disease really is.